I like line drills. I think it's easy for organization. Two, I think you put them all in front of you. You're getting 4 guys at a time. I like to do it with the safeties in the middle and the corners outside. Now, some of you might be, hey, I don't work with the safeties coach. You need to change that right now. You need to be working with your safeties. Or if vice versa, if you're the safeties, you need to be working with the corners. I think it's important that they're with each other to start the day. They have to communicate with each other. I always make these guys make calls. I said, I don't care what the call is, just make a call. And it kind of tells me what they're thinking about and what they're doing. So what I do is I'm the coach here, and then I have a coach down here that's going to send them back. And so all we do right here, the first drill that we do is actually a step-off drill, and you can see how the kids are getting their step-offs. And then they're transitioning into a back pedal. So the first drill is actually just a pedal. So they do their re-drills and then they back pedal. This is the second drill that we do, which is just a tight weave. So we talk about ladder drills. This to me is the ladder drill that we're working. We're working tight weave. And what I'm focused on as a coach is I'm focused on their feet. What I don't want, and to be this kid right here, this is what I'm looking for. This is a great example. The one right here. Look at how tight his feet are the whole entire time. This kid right here, you can see sometimes he takes wide steps. Other times his kind of knees come inside. And so I really work on him. But for the most part, this is a really good group. These 2 individuals over here are really good. In fact, this kid's probably going to end up playing in the major leagues. He's a great athlete. So I've been blessed with some great kids. Again, going through, you can see here, this kid right here gets on his heels. And so that's what you're looking for. You're looking for body posture. See how how he's turning his, instead of leaning over, his back is getting straight. And that's what we do not want. And so, being able to talk to those kids through it, and then we're going to do that. And then we're going to come back doing the same thing. The second drill, this is called a shuffle pull. And so we'll end up shuffling them right, left, and then they just have to turn and pull. And what I'm looking for is body posture on the turn. Are they throwing the elbow down? Are they keeping everything near the rib cage? What are they doing with that off foot? Are they planting it and driving and getting off of it? And, I tell the kids, it's like, look, just give me 3 hard steps. I don't need you to sprint. I don't want to burn them out. I think DBs, especially guys, be cognizant of your kids at the defensive back level, especially. We're the ones that are running all the time. The receivers are the ones that get to come run back and get replaced. It's the DBs that have to line up again every time. So we do this. This is a shuffle pull drill, and we'll do that coming back. And then I do this into a transition. So you can see right here how he comes up. I don't want that. I want everybody going down. It should just be like a track start. I want the elbow down. I'm telling them like you're at the casino. You're pulling a slot. This is a good example over here. He does a good job of pulling that down. I don't like the big movement up, but I do like the movement down and watching them, and then they sprint. So again, what does this work? For instance, this shuffle pull right here, this is them, playing catch coverage. And then, I got a vertical. Now I got to turn and burn. Now this is speed in my face, kind of that, oh crap, I got to run. And so that's kind of what that is. So notice we're doing every movement that you're going to get during the game. So this is what I call pedal weave. This is the next step. So now we're working the post in the corner. What I'm looking for right here is like this. For instance, this kid right here is going way too flat. We're not breaking on the out right now. We want to go vertical with it, breaking at a 45. Again, these 2 guys are doing it right. I want to break at a 45. I don't want to break vertical. I want to try and cap that post. And so we work that. And again, notice on each one of these guys are getting their step offs. They're getting their read steps, their 3-step read, their quick game, their run read. That's what they're doing right here. So I think that's important too, to reiterate that the early, I think we're so cognizant of the later in the down footwork, but we're never, we don't talk enough about what do we do at the beginning of the play. What do we do? How do I step off? How am I deliberate about the way that I'm stepping off and then moving? One thing that I found with the younger kids, they have a really hard time of backpedaling sideways. They want to turn their butt and they want to go. Notice how all these kids are sitting here and they're staying square. They're staying relatively square as they're doing this. And so I think that's important. What I would do is just do the long weave drill where you get them kind of in a line and they weave, touch the line, weave, touch the line, weave, touch the line, and they work back. That's what I would suggest if you're having trouble with your younger kids, or your kids are having a hard time weaving. Like for instance, this kid doesn't even get off the line. So that's something I'm telling them right here. You can kind of see me. I'm like, hey, get off the line. Got to get off the line. Okay, then we do center field turn. I know the clip kind of cuts off short, but again, I want more of this. See how these guys are gaining depth, and then these two guys don't gain depth. So for me, it's I want to gain depth. See, he's flat, and then he doesn't gain any depth at all. So we're getting run by over here, but we're not over here. Now, what I like to do is I raise a number at the end to get their head around. So it's the same drill as this. Now I'm just adding the center field turn into it as well. Let's see if I can get you one with a full view. Turn, and then they're breaking back in underneath. Don't be lazy. Run through it, 3 hard steps off of our break. Then after this, I transition into open field drills. I think here we go. That's it. I got my clips messed up. Okay, here we go. So the next thing I do is I bring in these hex strings. Now these, you can see them right here. I got these little hex strings. You can get them on Amazon for like $30, and they're an absolute game changer. The kids are so cognizant of where their feet are. And so you can see me doing the drill right here. All we're doing is sitting, and then I'm going to plant and drive. And see, this is perfect posture. This is what I want. Notice how I'm aligned. I look like a sprinter, okay? And that's what I want. I want that knee high. I want the toe pointed to where I'm going. I want good posture out of the break. I don't want to break down. Notice how my feet aren't back. And so I'm sitting here showing them how I want it done, and then I'm planting and driving. And I tell my kids all the time, you never seen a white boy this smooth. And so, it gets them a little relaxed, because they always get frustrated in these drills because their feet are never as good, and the old man always makes them look bad. So now we're going to transition. And again, what I like about this is, like, for my taller athletes, like for instance, this kid's 6'2", this kid's 6'2". They got to really understand where their feet are, and then they got to think about it. So they're going to be slow. They're going to be slow at first, and that's okay. But I want them to understand, like, okay, look, once they feel that muscle memory, now they're getting it going, and now they're getting it done. Now, this kid over here is about 5'7". I mean, look at him, pop, and now he's out. So he's one of my better players. He was really good for us, and he's going to be a great college player. But again, watching this, so all we're doing is doing different drills, working a shuffle breakdown, doing the same thing with the next group. Now we're going to go through, and what I like to do is work zone turn and man turn, and have them work their hips. So they're keeping their feet together, and they've really got to plant, and they've got to drive up. This works too if you do a lot of press bail. This works on that kind of that footwork of shuffle, open the hips, keep that shoulder down. You can see he keeps his shoulder down to the receiver, able to plant and drive and come out. Most of these kids do a really good job. In fact, all of these guys do. These were my starters last year for the most part. Plant, drive, getting off the ball. And this, to me, again, I cannot express enough. This was a game changer for us in the off season. And I just kept this on my desk too. So like, if any of them wanted to do footwork drills when we didn't have football, they could just come and get it. And I had the 6 hex strings in there. Let's see if I got another drill in here before I move on. So again, then I just have them accelerate through it. So just accelerate and be creative about it, and just trying to get them to move. I do one where they start facing this way, and they got to work through and then turn and go. And so they're kind of like turning as they go, and then go. And so if you ever have questions about, hey, I've got these hex strings, can you show me some drills to do? I don't mind showing you different drills. All right, now after this, we transition to 2v2. And so right here, we're working read. This is our read drill. Working through these guys. Now, we've actually done it here in the state of Texas. We got to do social distancing during practice. So what we actually do is we still do this, but we back the receivers up by about 5 yards. And so we kind of work our fits through this. So we've been able to do this even in the pandemic. And really what I like to do in the read drill is make sure that these guys understand, as in a traditional split, how hard it actually is to come off the hash and work to the fade, so that maybe we don't need to run cover 2 all the time. And maybe we can run some quarters and kind of get that sense of urgency. So we'll go to 2v2. This helps us really because we're so much split field quarters. I mean, obviously, if you know who I am at all, I'm split field quarters, and that's pretty much all that we do. And so you got to be able to play all of your stuff, whether it's man. We run a bunch of five man pressures with half field zones. So we're man to one side and zone to the other. This is another good example of read steps, getting your read step, see speed in the face. Now I'm going to turn, get in phase. Same thing with the safety. So we're working this 2v2 the whole time. And so I mean, I could go through all these different clips, but you can see here's dagger, working on that corner. I'm a little different just to go over this one. I put this one in here because I do like the corner inside leverage in read. I don't like him outside leverage unless we're pressing or unless he's inside our divider rule. So just kind of showing you how we play those inside routes with that vertical right there. So that's pretty much, what we do on a daily basis. Now, outside of like special schematic things or anything like that, that's what we're doing. We're doing our daily musts. We're going to our hex rings in fall camp. Once we get into the season, I toss the hex rings because we just don't have time for it anymore, unless I feel like we need it. But that's our spring. That's our fall. I know some of you guys work during the summer. With football, we get, like I said, we get about an hour worth of skill work. So we're doing the hex rings, and then we're doing 2v2, and we're doing pattern match, and we're just matching. What I like to do too is I go back through self scout and I say, what are the top two receiver routes that we get? And I list them 10, 15, I don't care. And then I just cycle through them all every day. And I'll start on the top of the list one day. I'll start in the bottom. I'll start in the middle. And that way we're getting it. And I move hashes, and that way, by the time we get to the season, man, I mean, it's just like they're like robots. They know how to line up to different splits. They know what to do with the route combinations, and they see things before I do. And I think that's when it really comes, is when those kids come to you and it's like, hey, I didn't check this because I saw this. And then I'm like, good, because that's the same thing I saw from the sideline. Because, a lot of times we yell and they can't hear us. So, again, if anybody has any questions about this, you can find my stuff on matchquarters.com. I'm moving match quarters over to matchquarters.substack.com. The content that's on Match Quarters right now will always be there. It's not going to change. But again, you can also check out my 4 books on Amazon as well.
Awesome, Cody. Thanks so much for coming on, man. Really appreciate it.